What is going on, guys? So I'm making this video on how to save big on taxes. I just really want to show people, just talk about it, right? I want to talk about how the high saver basically greatly benefits because they can take advantage of all the wealth building tools that we have access to versus the high spender. And for one, so we'll get started on what I wrote down here. So basically it's just saying, like, you may be wondering how you could actually save big on your tax return. And did you know that every job since you were 18 years old, you were actually entitled to 18% of your total income to be contributed to your RSP. Now, it's a little different when you, so people get the term RSP misdirected a little bit. An RSP, you right away think an RSP is just like what your company wants to sign you up with, right? So that is the most common thing. Like, I know my company, my parents' company, other people's companies, they'd be like, yeah, sign up to our RSP and we do contribution matches, right? Which is not entirely a bad thing. But when you're just contributing $50, $100 a paycheck, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to retire off $50 to $100 a paycheck. It's just simply not really, it's just not saving enough. And also an RSP, there's also self-directed RSP accounts, right? So an RSP isn't just what your company's offering. You could literally open your own RSP and manage it yourself via an app. If you teach yourself to do this, you stand greatly to benefit way more, honestly. And the thing is when you do this, it's not like it has to be complicated. It could be like a video that I'm gonna put out soon about investing into an index fund. So this is literally just, all you gotta learn how to do, like what to do is to find a broker, which interactivebrokers.ca or Questrade, open an account with them. You can open an RSP account, a TFSA account, a regular cash account. So for this video, open an RSP account with them. Boom, now you have their app, you download their app, you have your RSP account, you transfer whatever you want to put into that RSP account via online bill pay, which they tell you all the instructions how to do that on their website. So this is just takes a little bit of figuring out and a little bit of dedication and honestly a little bit of time. Take it in bite size at a time, but slowly chip away at this and you can actually set yourself in a good position. So anyways, you're entitled to put 18% of your total income for a year into an RSP. Now, you most likely won't have signed that up or did that with your company. And even then, it's in a mutual fund, which historically actually underperforms an index fund because of fees. And you have a manager that some mutual funds, they're not just buying companies and holding for long term. Some of them are selling out of positions in and out just because of a market downturn and such, right? So there's a lot of things that actually affect performance in mutual funds. And some of the greatest investors in the world speak very lowly about mutual funds, and there's a reason. So anyways, now how this really benefits a high saver versus a high spender is, imagine you saved 70% of your total income. And now only 18% of that you're allowed to contribute that year to your RSP. And that alone, say on $105,000 income, this is just a random example, and I'll actually leave a tax calculator in the description of this video. So if you're in Canada, you can choose your province, you can choose how much income you made, and then it'll tell you your total owed taxes, and then basically enter that number in a slot that says taxes that you paid. So, you know, obviously you got taxes deduct off all your paychecks. So enter that number of taxes you paid, and then the refund number will say 0. And then put 18% of your income, which on $105,000, I think it was 18,000 something. Anyway, so you put 18,000, it's like $500, let's say, for example. The refund was like $7,000. So you're effectively reducing your tax bill by like $7,000 alone just by doing that. And also, all your money in an RSP that grows through investments, the compound is tax-free. When you do decide to sell your investments, you don't pay any taxes on it. And then, so now you can see how powerful this is. If you have 70% of your income saved, 18% of that just lowered your tax bill and gave you $7,000 more to invest. And then now you could actually use that tax refund to max out your TFSA contribution limit, which goes up by $6,000 a year, where all your money will grow tax-free, and you could sell it tax-free, and you could pull it out anytime tax-free. So you could always access this. So now you have the money to take advantage of your total tax benefits and reducing your tax bill. You have the money to maximize your tax-free investment account, where you're entitled to $6,000 contribution every year. And then on top of that, you can still put money, your remaining like 40% income that you save, into a regular cash investment account, where now all your money still grows tax-free. So all your profits that make profits, which is what compound interest is, don't pay taxes on that. And when you actually do decide to sell, whenever you do decide to sell, you actually only pay 50% of your marginal tax rate. So the 50% capital gains tax. So it's tax benefits all around here, and tax is where we spend the most money on. So does it not make sense in the long run to figure out how to maximize, or like how to completely maximize your tax reduction? Because that is one of our greatest expenses. So to figure out your contribution room right now, as of now, if you've never taken it, if you only put in like say $50 a pay into like an RSP through your company and all that, figure out your total contribution room right now, because you may be shocked how much you actually have. So you go to canada.ca, you'll sign into My CRA with your SIN number and your banking institution that you select. Mine was Scotiabank, but anyways, so you sign into there and it'll tell you your total contribution room for your tax-free savings account that you're entitled to, and your RSP contribution room. Now you have an idea of where you stand with how much you can contribute. Now, how this really benefits is if you never took advantage of this your whole life, and now you're in a high income job, you're in a higher tax bracket. Well, now say if you have like $50,000 in contribution room that you never used over your lifetime, or even more if you're like above 30, like you have a lot of contribution room. So now if you really wanted to, especially if you're closer to retirement and you started becoming a high saver and you're just changing this, if you're closer to retirement, you might as well just try to max out that RSP thing, that RSP contribution rooms. Now imagine you made $100,000 and you save 70% of your income, and you say you deposit like 50 grand into your contribution room. Your tax benefit will be ridiculous. Like that year alone, you'll reduce your tax bill by like probably half or more. You could check that for yourself on the calculator. So step one, go to canada.ca, look at My CRA, find out where your contribution rooms are. Step two, go on the tax calculator, start punching in some numbers and figure yourself out what the potential savings you can get. And so people don't realize is people that don't even save 18% of their income don't even get to maximize just this tax reduction. So now it's insane the benefits that are available to you if you are capable of maxing everything out. So, and this is why it's hard to comprehend of how people could actually build a lot of wealth, when really at the end of the day, whoever is willing to make the most short-term sacrifices and focus on high saving in the long run will get to afford, don't mind my cat, will get to afford the things that you've wanted early in life, but you went into debt for it. And then if you delay that gratification a little bit, you'll be able to afford that and some and more, just because you grew your money, you maximize your tax savings. You know what I mean? And RSP, this is why if you want to put 18% of your income saved into an RSP, I do suggest do that when you're at a point where you're saving a lot more than 18% of your income, because you will only, like, the only disadvantage to that is you can't access that money until you're 65 without huge tax penalties. So that is why if you save a high amount and you get the perks of maximizing that and maximizing all your tax sheltered accounts and then completely dumping into your cash account, that is where you really realize the maximum potential of reducing taxes and growing your investment gains. So yeah, do all that, find out where your contribution room is, start devise a little plan for yourself. And this is something that if anybody hired me for coaching, this is something I'd be inquiring all these things into a plan for somebody to kind of figure out how we can get them to benefit from a little bit of everything, right? So yeah, you could feel free to message me or comment anything about this, but like I said, the power of the RSP is actually huge when it's used to its full potential. And all these tax sheltered accounts are very advantageous, because if you lived in America, and I know I have some American people that follow me on my email list and stuff. My cat's going crazy right now. The disadvantage about Americans, like Roth accounts and stuff like that, they don't, like, you should be grateful in Canada that you didn't take advantage of this your whole life, but it rolls over, and this accumulated, this contribution room. In America, if you don't use your contribution room that year, that's it. It resets every year. So that's the only thing that's really awesome about Canada, is if you started learning about your finances, well, guess what? They still be like, all right, well, we can still hook you up with everything you missed out on. Boom. That's the beauty of Canada. All right. So take advantage of it, find a way to take advantage of it, and benefit greatly in the future. Have a good day.